Anyways, guys, I feel like I made a lot of good progress today, but I did make a lot of mistakes because I am human, okay? And I am mankind. I'm just trying to get there. So, I think I got it now. So, if N is the 14th letter of the alphabet, and the number of men is the soul plus the flesh, okay? And your soul is depicted by the V, okay? By unity, okay? And the 3 dots and 2 lines is 5 dots and lines, you know what I mean? And 6 is the flesh, because we're carbon-based. Together you get 11, but I didn't account for the circle, because when you get rid of the circle, you get 12, and 12 is complete, okay? Hand of God again. You get 0, so you start at 0, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, fifth pillar rising, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay? You go around the clock clockwise, okay? Now, if self is n, which is 12, and the galaxy is the n plus 1 of self, which would be 13, and the universe is n plus 2 of the self, which is 14, now everything makes sense in my brain. Okay, there's no n plus 3, guys. So, again, before you make the hypercube, okay? Because when I'm talking about, we're talking about heaven and earth, okay? Okay, we don't live on a ball, guys. And we don't live in the icosahedron. We're already in the Garden of Eden. We're already in heaven, which is depicted by a square base pyramid octahedral light source with the top and bottom square base, I guess for the southern and northern hemispheres. Okay? Now, before the earth, the flat plane of heaven, okay, the square base, pyramid of top, and there's one at the bottom, okay? Before, like, we're looking for something, okay? We're sending a signal out, and we're trying to attract something like us, but different, okay? So we're trying to attract a different octahedral light source from somewhere else. And with that one-dimensional line, and when we start to converge and understand and realize that we are one, okay? What's going to happen is that this square-based pyramid at the bottom here, it has a bottom, a top, and a bottom. It has a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. Okay? And when we attract something like us but different, what's going to happen is eventually it's going to make a revolving door, because it's going to make an X, guys. Okay? You're going to make an X, and that's going to be a created two-dimensional plane. And then you're going to make another X, guys, which is going to be a created two-dimensional plane. Okay? Now, your two-dimensional planes are going to intersect, and you're going to be left with 4 two-dimensional planes trying to become one, because we attract something different but like us, okay? Now, Jesus, okay, in base 5 breaks down to 40, and Jews in base 5 breaks down to 30. Now, like an X in Roman numerals is 10. That's why I call it a two-dimensional plane. A two-dimensional plane is 10, which is the X. And look at the X, okay, guys? It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots, 0-dimensional singularities, and 4 one-dimensional lines. And then you got to read it backwards, okay? At 54, get rid of the circle, you get your 55, okay? And 5 and 5 is 10, or 9 with a circle around it, get rid of the circle, is your 10 without the circle around it. And your 10 is also your 11, which is ascension, guys, okay? Which goes back to, the soul plus the flesh, again, the beginnings of the man, of the number of man. It's really hard to say sometimes, and I have a hard time explaining it, and I get all kerfuffled sometimes. But let's just say we don't turn these zeros into ones. Okay, if we were to turn them into ones, we would have 44. Okay? And 44 read forward backwards will still be a 44, and 4 and 4 together makes 8. And that's still going to happen, guys, because look, a 4 and a 0 is a 41, which is 2 dots and a line, okay, which would be a 12, 2 dots and a line, read backwards, 21. A 2 and a 1 is a 3, okay, read backwards, now 41 becomes 43. Read it backwards, it's 34. Get rid of the circle, you get 35, which is an 8. So they're equivalent, guys. I hope I haven't confused the shit out of people. But you can see that the 8 comes before, okay? when they're being attracted and we are not 1, we make 8. And 8 is infinite, and 8 is the cross. Okay? Because you make, when you intersect lines, you make a singularity. Okay? And when you look at it from a different point of view, from left to right, guys, and you look at it differently, you're going to have an infinite line, a one-dimensional line going up and down. And then you're going to have a finite line going both ways, because this is finite. Okay? This would be this, and this would be this, if looked at differently. But when you intersect two one-dimensional lines, you make another singularity. Now this is called the segment, this is called the segment, and this is called an infinite one-dimensional line. Okay? Now, the cross is important. The cross is super important. I talk about the cross a lot. Okay? So, before these two get attracted together and create the hypercube, okay? Like I said, we're going to have a plane on top and a plane on bottom, and they're going to be magnetized and attracted, and when they become 1, that's your hypercube, okay? And it revolves clockwise because you want to get into the right hand, the right side of the door, okay? And man's right is reversed with God. Right now, this is God, okay? So this is the left hand of God, this is the right hand of Kevin, this is the left hand of Kevin, this is the right hand of God. And if you were to rotate it clockwise, look at that. You're going through the right hand of the door, the right hand of God, okay? The 9, okay? Look at the cross. The cross makes the 9, which is the only true number, okay? It also makes a 6, and a 6 isn't bad because 69 is your yin and yang, okay? I've said that multiple times, guys. So 69 is your yin and yang, which is your balance, guys. It's, look, when you break it into the cross, you have a dot and a line, a dot and a line, a dot and a line, and a dot and a line. Okay, so it's like a 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. It's 44, guys. Balance 69 yin and yang is equivalent to 44. Okay? And 44, when you get rid of the circle, becomes a 45, and that reduces to an X. Okay, guys? Which is your 9, which is your 10, which is your 11, which is... You know what I'm saying, guys? I hope someone understands what I'm saying. And then again, when you make the hypercube, when finally you get rid of the two-dimensional planes and make 1, you're still going to have the two-dimensional planes that you created. Okay? The 2 that are created because they're attracted when they're there. And remember, the pink cube will have 6 faces, and the blue cube will have 6 faces, and they're connected by the corners. Look, you know, you have a 1, 2, 3, and 4 make 5, guys. I really hope someone understands me. And then again with the hypercube, you're going to have 10, 10, 10 is 30, which is 3, 1, which is a dot and a line, 2 dots and a line, which is 33. And the same thing if I had 11, 11, 11, it would make 33. Read it back and forward, it's still going to be 33. When you get rid of the circle, you get 34. When you add them, you get 7. Okay? Now, 8 comes before 7. Okay? Because before the hypercube is created, you make an 8. And then when the hypercube is created, you make a 7. And we live in Earth, which is 1 of 7 of 13 of 110. Because we're ruled by time. Okay? Again, it's depicted really minutely here on my hypercube. Yeah, right here. Hope you can see that. Okay? Jeez. 5, 6, 8. So the 1 is shared. The 1 is shared of 7 of 13 of 110. Okay? And remember that to make the blue cube, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whole circles. That one's shared between 2 hypercubes. That one's shared between 4 quadrants. And this one is also shared with another plane. Okay, there'd be another color of square when we make this the hex. You know, the hypercube within a hyper. So when we become 1, we become 1 with time. And time is no longer a factor. And then nothing will decay and nothing will die. Think of it that way, guys. Okay? We're going to absorb all the pink. Will become part of the blue. We'll become 1. And there will be no longer a division between the pink and the blue. And all we'll be left with is this. This hypercube will try to attract another hypercube. And then maybe... Because remember this, guys? Remember... remember how when you have a cube, just a third dimensional cube, and you unravel it, you actually make a cross in a one-dimensional lines and dots, okay, and a two-dimensional plane. But when you have a hypercube, okay, when you have a hypercube, guys, so it's a cube within a cube. Let's try that. I don't know. I'm not the greatest, guys. And I don't. Okay, the corners of the two cubes are going to be attached. Of the faces, which I haven't depicted in my model, obviously, guys. Okay, and how many corners do you have? This goes to this. This would go to here. Okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. There, 8. Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vertices, and they're going to be joined together. Okay, I haven't depicted that there because if I put the faces on, if I put faces on the pink cube and faces on the blue cube, it would just look like a cube. Okay, so you have to use your imagination a little, and imagine that when the hypercube cube is completed, there's going to be a line here, a line here, a line here, a line here, and same thing on the bottom. And you're going to have 4 on top and 4 on bottom. And what's 4 and 4, guys? 8. Okay, infinite. The cross. Okay? And all they talk about is the east and the west and your woes. Because we read from our left to right. But you got to think of man and God are reversed. Okay? And you can't forget about the Son of God, Jesus, and what he's trying to teach you about 11s and the gates of ascension. Okay? And you can't get there without the cross. Let's just say that dot is an E and that dot is a W. I really hope I'm not speaking Greek. You know, I really hope that, I know I've made mistakes, but I'm really trying to get there. Okay? Now if the 8 comes before the 7, again, it takes me back to this painstaking diagram that I had to draw. Because I don't have a printer. Okay? Right here, this thing. Okay, look what's going on. Here's your 9/11. Here are the Twin Towers, guys. And you're going down, you're descending. Okay? And then the nails here depict 3 singularities and 3 one-dimensional lines. So that's 0-dimensional singularities, one-dimensional. It's 33. Read forwards and backwards, it's the same thing. The only thing, out of all the numbers, lowercase and uppercase letters, and all of the numbers, you can't create anything with 3 0-dimensional singularities and 3 one-dimensional lines. I've tried. The only thing you can create is the infinite cross here. Going infinitely up and down, and then having a segment and a segment. Okay? So look, by showing you this, they're neglecting to mention the Son of God. How about that, eh? And then the IHS, which is I is 9 for balance, and S is 19 or 10 or 11. So the I and the S, okay, the I and the S is a 9, 11. Because S is the 19th letter, 1 and 9 is 10, and 10 is 11. Okay? So that's what this means. This means 9, 11, and 2 11s. But the sword going down through it depicts this. Okay? Now, what I see here again is 8 dots and 7 lines. So the dots come before the lines. Okay? You have 8 dots, which is a greater number, and 7 lines. What's 8? Well, 8 is your Q. Okay? Or your H. You know, your H. Your H is the cross. Okay? It's the court of good and evil. Okay? Because H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. That's why. And an 8 is the cross. Okay? And 8 is the cross. It's a fly speck. So I really hope I'm like 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 8 and 7. You got your 8 and your 7 and your ascension and your hypercube. I really hope someone understands me.